Okay guys, I don't want to make these videos. I don't really have the time to make these videos. I know a lot of people like the way I approached the issue on my last video, so I appreciate that, but I'm not a video person, and I'll come to that. But what I wanted to say is, Tommy is not here to bring any development to the black community. I'm not saying he has to, I'm not saying he should, but damn hell, if you're a man who's going to jump 24/7 at home, recording videos, looking for videos to shout down black women, then everyone would have thought it was logic that you'd do something about it if you actually had such a big problem about it. But he's not here to do it. Tommy is just here to relieve white people of white guilt and relieve white people of their problems and maybe some sort of envy white women have of black women. You guys need to understand that you're thirsty for a black leader. You need to understand that that's what's going on. That black people are thirsty for a leader. We look at the days of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Marcus Garvey and we admire that. And every day we stand around the corner, pick up a newspaper, switch on the TV, surf the web, hoping to find this leader. And black people, if there's one thing you haven't realized by now, is that you don't need a leader. Here are the two main reasons why I'm telling you you don't need a leader. One, once you have a leader, you have a head. And once that head is accessible, they can kill the body. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Once you have a leader, you have a head. And once they can access that head, they can kill the body. Now, I don't care who's out there thinking they're a leader. If they could get Gaddafi, who built all those underground tunnels, had all those weapons, had all that money, they can get any one of these Negroes in America who pretend to be leaders. They can get any one of them. Everything is like a game of chess, or even a game of sports. When you're playing against an opposition and they keep using one strategy, what does common sense tell you to do? Common sense tells you to implement a move that prevents that strategy from continuing. Black people had their Martin Luther Kings. Black people had their Marcus Garveys. Black people had their Malcolm X. Let's take it to Africa. Black people had their Kwame Nkrumah. Black people had their Lumumba. Black people had a whole host of black leaders. Some names that are not even popping up in my mind right now. Now the question is, do you think the white man is going to sit down there and let these black leaders come and keep messing it up? No. What are they going to do? They're going to give you the leader before the leader comes, to quench your thirst. That's like a man really thirsty for some pure water. Hey, give him this mud water. Because he's thirsty right now, he'll drink it. He'll accept it. You really think Tommy Sotomayor is a real leader? Like, really, you sit down and listen to this man who puts stuff on his Facebook telling girls to come to his residence and give him pussy? You really think this man is a leader? A man who looks at women mourning the death of a child and for no reason starts calling them whores. Is this your leader? I know what you're gonna say right about now. Well, Tommy says some nice things. Look, whenever time someone comes to me and tries to defend him and says, well, he says some real shit sometimes, I don't give a fuck. What, you think Hitler just kept saying some Alice in Wonderland shit all the time? What people need to understand is their facts, their theories, and their ideologies. Ideology is your way of thinking. It means that no matter what a situation is, you would apply a method of thinking about that situation. Then you got your facts that are true by unreasonable doubt. Then you got your theories. These are assumptions you're making that you've not based upon any real proof, but you might have evidence. So what you have is, you have these Negroes who are going to take some of these facts, because you're going to believe the facts. How could you not believe the facts? They're the facts. And then they're going to apply their ideology to it. That's the bit where you have to be careful. It's easy to absorb an ideology. And from that ideology, it's easy to make theories. And this is where we're going with Tommy Sotomayor. You have a man who's taken these facts and put in some stupid theories and some stupid ideologies to it. A man who has a fear of black women, and when I say that, I mean that with all my heart. A man who has a fear of black women. What Tommy doesn't want to embrace is he's trying to accept the culture of poverty as the culture of black women, which is totally stupid. Now, is that to say that the majority of black women are ratchet? Yes or no? Is that to say that there's a good number of white women who are ratchet? I don't know. I don't have time to go counting those women. I know in my life I haven't come across many ratchet women. I'll tell you that. And I'm around black women all the time. I haven't come across many. Maybe it's where you're hanging. Maybe it's the company you attract. Maybe it's what you're attracted to. One person came to say to me, oh well, how come you don't see any good videos of black women on YouTube? Are you stupid? Do you think there's someone out there right now with a camera filming a woman who's going to work saying, here's a good black woman? Do you think someone has time to go and film a woman while she's breastfeeding her kid, or while she's feeding her kid in the living room? No. People are filming drama because people like drama. That's why you watched all the cartoons. Would you be watching Superman if you were sitting at home and just reading a book? And would you watch that for 30 minutes? No, you watched Superman, you watched Batman, you watched the X-Men, all these blockbuster hits were blockbuster hits because some motherfuckers were fighting. So when people put that on the internet and it goes viral and you come across it, does that mean that this is the majority of black women? No, it means that this is what people want to see from black women. That's the bottom line. And what we're having is things that are developing out of a culture of poverty. If someone is poor and you go and borrow his $400 and you don't return it, and someone is rich and you borrow their $400 and you don't return it, which one of the two do you think is most likely to fight with you? Exactly my point. The point is, people in poverty are most likely going to react in a violent manner or in a more hostile manner. The reason being is because their situation is always a tense situation. Maybe in most situations the person you're not paying back who's poor is close to getting evicted out of their flat. Maybe they're close to not being able to pay their school fees. Maybe they're close to not being able to buy something that they wanted to get for their kids. How many of you out there who are growing up in a poor community saw most of the times your parents were fighting over what? Financial issues. And what I'm trying to talk about is, I'm not trying to justify violence. I'm talking about a culture of violence. Because you see, when the people are around so much poverty, the culture of poverty, when you're around so much poverty, things get tense and a lot of things result into violence. You result to a lot of violent nature. Because you don't have the luxury to let certain things slide. You have to use force, physical force. And what happens is, we know black people are put under economic deprivation. If you want to tell me that black women are ratchet for usually getting into fights and usually doing this for money and usually kicking their spouses or their sons or their daughters' fathers out for money, do me a favor. Put white women in that situation. Put white women in a dire situation of poverty, and let's see how they react. Because the bottom line is, it's a culture of poverty, not a culture of black women. Okay, but what Tommy Sotomayor does is he couples them both. You understand what I'm saying? He couples them both. So what he tries to do is he picks the culture of black women and the culture of violence, and he tries to tell you that the culture of violence is the culture of black women. And that's what he's trying to do. And this is why he doesn't accept the argument that white women do it too. No. You see, not everyone is a socialist. Not everyone's into sociology. Not everyone studies these things. Some things you know, but you don't know how to argue it back. But Tommy knows how to argue, so what he does is, even though you have a point, he diffuses it. Because we all know arguments are not about who makes the right point, but who presents the points the best. That's why all these guys dressing up in gay suits can never really get a point across. Because even though they might have a good point, they're not presenting it well. And since black people are so thirsty for a leader, we follow the person with the most charisma. I know this. I used to speak in front of large crowds when I was at the age of 17 to 25, until I realized that marching, political meetings were in the way, and I said I'm going to set up businesses. So I'm running 3 businesses right now, all successfully well, independent. But what I'm trying to say is that don't confuse the culture of poverty with the culture of black women. Because the truth is, when that little kid is growing up and he sees his cousin picking up a gun to go and shoot someone who didn't pay him, when he's seeing his sister fight another girl for not returning her money, when he sees his parents breaking up because the dad couldn't pay the rent, and then it getting into an altercation and then his mother being hit, he he learns that the resolution of his problems is violence. So if he grows up and he has any financial issues or any tough time, he's going to take a violent route. At the same time, even if he has a situation that is not dire, as long as he's not happy, he knows this is the resolution. This is why I call it a culture of poverty, because you start to have people who are educated, who are taught in the process that this is how they should resolve issues. So it becomes a culture, no more a necessity. Maybe the person who picked up the gun, who had to go to someone's place to get his money, maybe that was a necessity for him to get his money back. But after it becomes a culture, it is not necessary to some people. They just do it because that's the only way they know. That's what we call the culture of poverty. But Tommy Sotomayor doesn't want to acknowledge this. He just wants to acknowledge and discriminate black women and embed the culture of poverty into the black woman. I know some of you are going to say, oh, he's not talking about the whole black woman. Fuck that shit, he is. If you think because every time he says, not all, then listen a bit closely. That's like the white man going out there and saying, black people are baboons. Oh, you black people are niggers. Not all. I've got my friend Kofi, who he's kind of nice. Kofi, I wasn't talking about you, I'm talking about all the other black baboons. And then Kofi thinks, oh yeah, he likes me. All you women that are sending him videos, you are that Kofi. You're the one who's like, oh, he likes me. I sent him a video and he shouted my Twitter account out. He is talking about you because when you step out that house and a white person sees you, you are in that category if he has been listening to Tommy Sotomayor.